Audrey says she has a clipboard for her hubby's jobs, the ones that she can't do. Tim, you need one of them. No. I love that, Audrey. That is awesome. A clipboard. I need to get a few of those for people in this building. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Toni Darroch, and this is the How to Craft Network. Now, today is our one-day special, but I'm not bringing you anything special today. Well, it might be special to most of you. We're going to be creative today. It's not very often we get to put pen to paper, paper to die cutting machine, and actually have a good old play. And I did promise you this week that we would do a bit of a painting class of some form. And I've just thought, you know what, I'm going to utilise my one-day special. We're still working our way through our big deliveries, and I have quite a lot of you waiting for bits and pieces, so I'm not going to overload and I'm not going to sell, as such, anything new. So if you're here, thank you so much. You can switch off now if you wanted new, because I ain't got brand new. But I have got some good techniques, and if you learn one thing today, that'll be awesome, right? So if you're wanting to paint along, you're going to need some watercolour card or some cardstock at the very least, a brush, and ink pads, maybe watercolour pans if you use those as an alternative. I am using ink pads because my crafters might only have ink pads, so I'm using ink pads. But if you've got pans and you want to use those, of course, you can use those. A brush, some water, and a bit of tissue. That's all you're going to need. But before we get into any painting, there's no technical watercolour skills required for this class, okay? We're going to go right from the basic in the hope that I'm going to encourage you to pick up that brush. I have been the advocate of picking up the brush for the last 10 years, and today's no different, okay? So if you've never picked up a brush before, please do so today. Give it a twirl. You might actually surprise yourself. But secondly, if you're just wanting a little bit of mindful craft, a little bit of a deviation from the norm with your craft, then today you're going to have a great day with me. So if you've never seen any of our watercolouring, we keep it super, super basic, toe, belly, toe. Most of you already know to do a leaf, toe, belly, toe. And we just create our own little masterpieces that you can be proud of and you can say you painted. Whether somebody laughs, if you put a smile on your face doing it and the receiver absolutely loves it, who cares what anybody else thinks, right? Now, I do not claim to be a watercolour artist. I play, and whatever comes out the back end of it is my work, which I will be incredibly proud of. Okay, so you should have the same mindset as crafters. You know, if you are messing with paper, that means you have a creative mind already. So that means to me that you are like sponges and want to do different things and learn different things as well. So first of all, I have attached a couple of items. If you're wanting to maybe get into it, give it a try, I've attached our Carta watercolour card, the best. And I'll be using that today. But if you don't have watercolour card, please don't worry. Please just use normal cardstock. It will be harder with cardstock, but don't rule it out. Give it a twirl and then go from there. Okay, so Carta watercolour card, it's on the screen now. It's $12.99. Now, these were in our deals and steals on Monday, and they were buy one, get one free. That still applies, okay? Still applies, and I'll leave it on for the rest of today. Buy one, get one free. So if you want to top up on your Carta watercolour card, now's the chance. It will be taken off by tomorrow. So buy one, get one free for your Carta watercolour card. It is linked to the show. It's linked below. It's linked to the top of YouTube. It's on my-telly.com, and it's also linked on our Facebook page. Now, a couple of other things I just want to touch on, as a lot of these items are going to be sent very, very soon. We have the Maker's Memoir. Now, if you don't know anything about Maker's Memoir, lots of you invested, hundreds of you have invested in this, to be frank. But this is an opportunity for you to have the inside scoop on Stamps by Me, what we're up to, stories of our lovely crafters, the insides, the outsides, the good stuff, the sunshines and rainbows, and the not so good stuff. But what does it look like as a crafter? You're going to get a digital magazine with content, of course. You're going to get items sent over the course of the next 8 months. You get items sent as well. And it's just a great way to get creative. The design team will be working on products for all three of them, and you'll be able to do the inspirational content with your digital magazine. And there's also stories in there from me, ones you've never heard before, and there is also going to be stories in there from our lovely crafters, and I'm picking crafters as I go. So it's something brand new, is that. It's one of my most loved items I've created so far, not just because of the crafty content and what you get with it, what it actually means as a digital magazine is totally different, and I'm super excited about that. So we've linked that one. Have a look at that one. I've also linked our Christmas party where I send you all of the goods. We have 4 hours together. You can come in and out of the chat room. You can be visible if you want to. You don't have to be visible. We do giveaways, and we're going to send cards to each other or to me to read out whilst we are live throughout the 4 hours. So we'll do a class for 2 hours, and the other 2 hours we will talk to each other and just have some fun. So get your Christmas trees at the ready, get your party hats on, your Christmas jumpers too. I'm so excited about that one as well. This is brand new for us here as well. This year, 2025, we've tried and trialed some brand new things. So I'll be really interested to see how it goes for the rest of the year. So that's that. And the last item I want to touch on is our Create Together Club. And again, we do 5 days, 1 hour a piece, sometimes less, sometimes more, of creative using the products in this envelope, and it's a total surprise. You open it, the contents are worth way more than $69.99. That's just a blasé price point, and then I reduce it to $44.99 for you all, and then you get your points and your discounts and whatever else it looks like for you as an individual. If you are a savvy shopper with Stamps by Me, you're going to get it even cheaper. And then we open the envelope together, and we have Monday to Friday, 1 hour a day, where we get creative together. So that's the Create Together Club, and that is a great way to step out your comfort zone with what you do with your craft as well. Now, I feel like I haven't moved. Diane, will the minute that I haven't got any on order yet, Diane, not as it stands, not yet. I have a priority list, and they're not on the priority list as it stands. So I've also added woodland wildlife as well, because I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to use it because we are painting, but I'm going to talk about a cool technique that you could do with that stamp and stencil system also. So let's do a little bit of a shout out. We've got Julie, Michelle, Audrey, Chrissy, Leslie, Marilyn. There's lots of you on today. Erica, Central Florida. Hi, Erica. I hope you're well. Let us know where you are in the UK too. We like to know where you are in the UK. So just let us know. Please share the shows as much as you can. Let's grow this platform as big as we can, of course. And Tim was pointing out earlier, there was somebody asking about Tom's birthday. We had a fantastic day yesterday. It was nice just to be told to switch everything off, because we don't do it very often. But we decided that everything was getting switched off, and everything was being left in the car, and there was no signal where we were anyway. So we had a full 5 hours of family fun, literally 5 hours, where Dad's not on the phone to import and export for Florida, and Mum's not on her messenger from people saying things are missing or thanks for their orders, because we're just on the ball all the time, as you know. So 4 hours or 5 hours of solid fun with Tom, and he had a fantastic day. He got his new rugby boots, and he even went to practice last night because he wanted to wear them. So yeah, we had a great day, 11 years old. So I hope you made the most of that discount code as well that I gave you all to say thank you. So let's get painting. Now you're going to need some water. You're going to need some brushes. You're going to need ink pads. I have linked to all of our ink pads. The reason why I like to paint with our ink pads is, one, because as crafters, that's all you might have. As long as they're dye-based, you can paint with them, guys. You don't have to go out and buy the fancy pans and things like that. I have one of my old pans here, old pan set. So if you've got a pan set, you can, of course, use your pans as well. But our ink pads are super juicy. That's why they're cool, right? They're super juicy, so you get a lot of pigment in them as well, so you can get a lot of coverage. We've got our Carter watercolour card. And I just wanted to show you as well, guys, I've got my painting book here, which normally I paint when I'm out and about. So here are just some things where I've just been absolutely faffing. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. But it's the picking up of the brush, it's the moving the colour around, which is gonna hand coordination, isn't it, Tim? Where repetitive, where you do it over and over, and then you get used to how the colour moves around on the paper, what colours work with, what don't work with. So you can get an idea of what I actually do when I say to you, I just paint. And literally, I do just paint. I just add some colour to the background. Started drawing some baubles here, look, in circles. Just faffing. So, you know, I'm not brilliant at it, but because I think I do it over and over, I do see growth in my painting. I'm never going to be Thomas Kincaid or anything like that, but you know, God loves a trier. So Blue Jay, I'm in Missouri. Hope everyone is well. Brilliant. So if you're going to paint, all of those items are linked to the show. Pop them in the basket, check them out, and then you're done. But let's have a painting session, okay? So I'm just going to grab some watercolour card here. Now, we could do flowers, we can do leaves, we can do anything we want, right? We can do anything we want. So I've got a couple of sized brushes here. I've got a size 6 and a size 14. These are the brushes that I'm going to be using as well. Check out our brushes on the website. So I'm just going to go with the big one because it's going to be easier to show you what I'm actually doing. So, bit of water. Not fancy. So all I'm going to do is show you how to paint a leaf first off, and then let's get in. Would you like me to paint a scene, or would you like me to paint a flower, or what would you like me to do? This is a lovely creative show, guys, so I encourage that you craft along. It's not very often we can do it, or watch this video later and get your bits and pieces out and just have a lovely hour to yourself, sat in the window, sat in your craft room, and just have some fun. So I'm going to get a bit of green here. And I'm going to get a bit of teal as well, because that will give us some dimension in our leaves. Super easy. So the way that I like to, I always wet the ink. So I'll get a puddle, nice puddle there, clean my brush. And I've got 2 nice colours here. So the way that we paint leaves here at Stamps by Me is probably not like anyone else, but you know, it is what it is. We do what we do. So I'm just going to pick up some of the green. So I'm just going to let the brush pick up the ink there. And the way that we paint leaves is super duper simple. So when your brush is upright, it means it's on its toe. And then when we tilt it down, it's on its belly. And then we bring it back up to its toe. So we say toe, belly, toe. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's just, this is a big piece of card. But for instance, so toe, push it down, belly. You've seen me do this lots, guys, and then back to the toe. And then you have a nice leaf. And of course, you can fill it in and make it fatty if you want to. And because you're working on the watercolour card, the colour will sit on the surface for longer, enabling you to move it around a little bit more. So let's just do that again. Pick up some colour. So you can do all different formations, toe, belly, toe. A lot of you can do this. I've seen you all do it. Toe, belly, toe. Super duper easy. Toe, belly, toe. You see? And then whilst the ink is wet, like so, if you take another colour and you just drop it into the wet ink, pounds, 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 the water will just look after itself. The ink, sorry, will just look after itself. When it dries, it gives a whole new look. So have the courage to just get some colour down and leave it. So if you want to go in again with the other colour, again inside, one inside the other. We've got leaves with instant dimension. Now, there's lots of different ways to do toe, belly, toes. You can do it twice on one leaf. So for example, toe. So I'm just going to show you here. So toe, belly, toe. But then if we want to do a little bit of a nice posh curve on it, we'll do it exactly the same, toe, and come round. See? And then get some more. And just go back over if you want to, toe, belly, toe. And you can do it multiple times, different ways. So you get all with the same technique, toe, belly, toe, but look at all the different sort of shapes you can get. So if you wanted to do a branch, for example, so none of you are talking to me now because you're all watching, but stretch, 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 all the way, toe, belly, toe. Again, long line, toe, belly, toe. I always like to start with this, guys, because it's an easy starting point. it doesn't make you scared. So already you have your cluster of leaves going on, and you can see the dimension in there already. And then if you want to make them a bit darker, you can of course do that. Go back in, get a bit more colour. Really get some more colour on there, Tony. Let's get some more colour. Yeah, I've just dropped that line of blue in there. And don't worry about the harsh lines, because that's watercolouring. That is watercolouring. You've just got to let it be, guys. And there are your watercolour brushes that I use all the time. So yes, your sheet will look messy, but you have to go through this to get to where you need to be, okay? So just keep toe. Just say to yourself over and over, toe, belly, toe, toe, belly, toe. So you could do a whole cluster. I think on one of our videos, guys, we did the red berries, where we did we painted like a berry card, if you remember, where we put the red circle dots for the berries, and then we actually put some red gems on, and we painted our own Christmas card, if you remember, at one point. So it's a little bit, make sure the toe, belly toe is with your brush and not with you as a human being, or else it looks like you're going to be doing worm. Okay, so simple leaves. So to get you going, get warmed up, do some leaves, okay? So a great one as well for these is if you do them in like a really dark blue, and you've got like a piece of cardstock that looks like a sunset in the back, you can actually paint the leaves in as if they're coming from the sides. Does that make sense? So start at the side, bring it in. Simply no rules. And you could create your own pretty background if you wanted to, okay? So leaves out of the way. I've got the belly, says Simon. Simon, stop. So let's just move that out of the way. So are we getting warmed up? Who's actually doing anything with me? Is anyone doing anything with me? Is anyone new? Anyone new? I would be interested to know. We did this during a lot with lockdown. That means, Michaela, you must be really good at it. Great way to be together and pass time. Honestly, everybody knows the toe, belly, toe. It only came from Stamps by Me, toe, belly, toe. It probably does exist, actually. So, right. So, do you want? Shall we do the? I know you all liked how I did that industrial scene. So, do you want to shall we have a play with that? Let's do a little mini industrial scene. But before I get into like a masterpiece where we're all playing, right? Let me just cut this in half because it's a bit too big. Let me just show you the technique that I was thinking for the woodland wildlife. So, woodland wildlife has this stencil in it. This one. So, if you take, because most of you will have this, guys. If you haven't, it's a beautiful stamp and stencil set. But just to show you how it will work with your watercolouring as well is just brilliant. So I'm just taking the stencil. So you could do this bare and then do your painted dark navy or black leaves coming in and create your own masterpiece. You know, you don't have to use stamps all the time. So if you take your bare, so let's pop them in the middle there. And if you take a pencil and you draw inside the line of the pencil here. I'm just drawing the shape of the bear with the stencil pencil. You've got our woodland wolf, that would be incredible for this. So I've got like my lovely bear there. And then if you take whatever colours you want to do, you could do like a midnight scene. We'll do a bit of teal, bit of pink, bit of Aurora Borealis here. I'm doing this quick, guys, because we're going to move on to a scene, a bit of purple. Okay. So then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my water and I'm going to paint water inside this bear. Okay, so I probably could do with a smaller brush, but anyway, you can see the water's got a bit of teal in it, so you'll be able to see it. So all I'm doing is I'm just painting inside the bear best I can. With a big brush. So when you drop your colour in, okay, it will only go where there's water. If you've hopefully stayed within your lines, just get a smaller brush for its legs. Just get a smaller brush so I can get down into his legs. So you're painting literally with water, like we used to do with the painting by numbers as a kid. And you might have to do this a few times because the bottom might get dry before we actually get down to his legs, but let's just get a base layer at the very least, hey? Like so. I think might need a smaller brush. So I can see I've got a puddle of water inside my bear there. And then if you pick up some of your colour here and you hold it on a tilt a little bit like so, and then you pop the blue at the very top, drop the water in, drop the colour in. Try and stay the best you can within those lines and keep pouncing the ink in there so it'll run down into that water. See now? Add a bit of purple. Keep moving it around, move it, move it. And into the pink. And if it starts getting a bit scratchy and the colour's not moving around as much, it means the water's sort of like, you haven't got as much water there where it's needing to sort of like move it all around. And then we'll go back into the blue. Don't try and blend it all, it's watercolour, you'll be there trying to blend forever. Try and blend watercolour. I've got some big puddles where his feet are. Can you see it's all going back up now? I'm just going to use my brush here just to sort of tidy it up a little bit. Got a big puddle of water now down in his feet. And then when you set it aside, you're going to have like an Aurora Borealis bear, which then you can then take your stamps and stamp into your amazing bear. So let's just, and then what I would probably do there is whilst it's still damp, I would go probably around the top a little bit more and add a little bit more darker colour, intensify it a little bit. You see, and then let it work its magic. If you've got puddles, I've got a few puddles, so just to get rid of puddles, a great technique for you all guys is grab some tissue, get the tissue, put your brush in the tissue, take out all the water, and with a dry brush go in and your brush will drink the water. It will take it out. Dry. If you've got puddles, let the paintbrush lift it out for you, Okay, I've got a few puddles in his legs, too much water, so drinking up that water. Got a bit in his nose. Let's just add some blue to his feet. And then we'll set this aside and we'll move on to our scene. We'll come back to this. But try and paint it as neat as you can. And stay within the lines without it looking odgy-spodgy. And you can go over it as many times as you want to. I could sit and faff with it all day. That's what I just love about watercolouring, because there's no rules. No two pieces are never the same. So get your brush, have some fun with it, guys. So I'm going to set this aside for now. She says, stop bouncing, you know, give it a break, give it a break. Let's leave him. Let's set him aside. He'll dry nicely and we'll come back to him. So let's just tidy this. So should you want me to, let's do the scene, because I know a lot of you like the scene. Right, so I'm going to grab another piece. I'm going to cut it down though. Always start with a small piece. I always find that if you start with a small piece, a watercolour card, it's not overwhelming. If you've got a big design, it's complicated. So start small and then grow into the size that you love. Okay, so I'm starting small. I don't want to get it all wrong and make a hash of it. So I'm starting small. So I've just got cut this piece off the bottom of my watercolour card here. So the scenes are brilliant because it encourages you to get out the rest of, like, it encourages you to get out tools that you wouldn't normally use. So with this, I need a gel. I've got a gel pen for the lines. You can use a credit card, a plastic sheet, whatever it may be. Sort of like to create a cute industrial scene here, which looks like a bit of a reflection in water. This is not complicated, guys. It's super duper easy. In fact, I'll leave it up here so you can actually see, and then I can follow it myself because it's been a while since I've actually done this. But I love anything abstract, something that looks easy on the eye. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to, by eye, you can do it with a pencil, I just do it by eye, is I'm just going to take, let's just move it out of the way because I need the space. So I'm going to take, let's do a similar colour. So we'll do teal, teal and blue, but you, with your pans, you will have a sort of like a variation of colours. And we'll go with this lovely heather as well. So I've got 3 nice colours here. Now, there are so many different ways to create this look. Now, you can use like the edge of a ruler to get the lines, like so. You can, it's just fun. It is just fun. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my piece of artwork this way, okay, because I need to drag the ink. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my brush. This is such a fun way to get creative with watercolour. So let's just get some of this, for instance. Mix it up with some water. Get a nice puddle. Like so. I'm going to get quite a nice wet puddle. You see that there? And then I need, which I didn't really think about before I came to wear, like a card or, let's have a look. So your watercolour card would be good enough, the edge of a what? So you need something thick, like a credit card or a thicker piece of card or a piece of plastic or something like that. I'm just going to go with this. Hopefully it'll work. So then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ink, my credit card, my watercolour card, as you can see here, into the ink. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it on my page here and drag it, and hopefully it's going to drag. See the line? So let's do a few of these. So I'm going to try and keep them all in line-ish. It looks odd to start, you just got to enjoy it, go with the process. So I've got 3. Use a credit card. I'm just using this because this is all I have. So like we've got a few lines, so there's the tops of our buildings. I'll just turn the card around and we'll use the blue. Never leave your brush in your water, always take it out. And then here we'll do some, see how it's leaving like different types of sized buildings in one. Then our purple. So relaxing to watch. I'll get a nice puddle for purple. So basically just at different levels. So sort of like got some buildings going on. They don't look like buildings at the moment, we know this, right? So then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my paintbrush here and I'm just going to sort of like level it off. Where's my centre? So here, water. And I'm just going to drag the colour down. Pick it up, tilt it down. And then just to enhance it a bit more, I'm going to add some colour. So I'm using a round head brush. That's a great question, by the way. I use round. For backgrounds, you want a flat brush, and for detail, you want a rigger brush. And I could use all of those in here, but I do appreciate not everybody's going to have those brushes. So just bear that in mind. But the most common one will be your round, which I'm using. So you can see here, we've got some of the colour coming down here. Just added more colour, and then more water means it's going to come further down and just do its own thing. So I've already got a bit of something coming to, you can already see there's a reflection happening in the water, right? You do you. And then what we need to do is we need to add more detail with our brush. So I'm going to define some of these buildings here. So let's go with him first. He's floating. I'm just going to put an edge on him. Maybe cast a shadow down one side. Make sure your shadows are all on the same side. It's helpful. Can build, you colour half of it, a little piece of it, it doesn't really matter. And if you've got buildings that are floating, don't worry, because we fix that, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect some of the buildings as well. So I'm going to just have some fun with it, guys. Don't put yourselves under pressure. Most of my artwork comes from absolutely faffing. So I'm going to take some of the purple here and I'm going to do a smaller building in front there. Tiny one here. Another one here. I'm sorry if I'm missing all your comments. I'm just having fun. So I'm just sort of like creating layers with lines, nothing too fancy. You're all like, that's too hard. It's not hard. I'm just doing lines. Now let's put some others. My card's still wet, so it's letting me add the colour. Decisions, decisions. And all of my artwork, and I promise you this, guys, all of my artwork starts out horrific, doesn't it, Tim? Tim always panics when I'm doing things like this because he's like, I never know where anything's going. I never know what it's going to look like or things like that. So, you know, just stick with the process. So now I really do need a piece of smaller card. So I'm just going to take some watercolour card here. But if you've got like an old Amazon card or an old credit card that you don't use, then those are going to be brilliant. So all I'm going to do now is I've just cut this piece down here just to get a few building lines in here to create some like industrial. So I'm going to take the ink pad itself. I'm just going to pop it in so now I get this lovely edge on here. So this is going to sort of like start defining what our back is going to look like. So if you make sure you don't go below your line. Hopefully I can get it to transfer across with the watercolour card. It has gone. Let's keep trying. It's shown, oh, it's there. So I'm going to put a few lines in. I'm going to do some angular lines. Hopefully it's going to transfer across. There we go. Can we see? So now what we're going to do is we're going to create some sort of like crane effects. You see the lines here? Credit card would be more solid, but it's fine, it's working. So remember, they don't all have to be grounded. So when you start to add the lines and the detail, that's where it all sort of like starts to think, oh, I get it now, I get it, it's coming together. So use different types of colours. So I'm just going to turn my artwork upside down now. I'm going to try and drag. So we'll take the watercolour card and try and drag. And then what that's going to do is it's going to give a thick and thin line, sorry. And it's going to stop me from being sterile as well. So I'm going to try and get a bit here. Remember, it's upside down at the moment. You see how the detail is now coming to life. So we need to just back on with a bit more detail, Tony. Stop being tight. So a good thing to do as well, guys. Sue says, sorry, not commenting, I'm mesmerised. Bless you. So a good thing to do also, guys, is if you want to put it down, then drag. You get like a shadow. So the lines are sterile, but if you pop it down like, say, for instance, here, and you drag, you see how we get like a double line? So let's get some. I mean, I'm just using a piece of cardstock here, but it is way better if you have like a gift card or something. So we're sort of like going for the I'm in the city. There is a load of building work going on. And then we'll sort of like try and ground this a little bit. Not too much. So this is just with like the ink pad for this one is the Heather, okay? So you don't want to get too heavy on your lines because we still need to add some watercolour. So I'll stop with the lines there, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sort of like build some buildings within the lines that I've created. So like here I've got a bit of a box going on, we see here. So I'm going to go in with further detail and sort of like colour inside that box. See, now I've created a structure there. And watercolour always dries back 2 shades lighter, remember that. So keep going with your lines, get your building structures in. I'm just going to wet the bottom again here. Keep that soft as I can anyway. So I want it to look like it's reflecting into the water there as well. Now I could do with some browns or some blacks to really bring this to life. So I'm going to just use my pan set for the dark colours because I don't physically have an ink pad for that. So let's just mix a black. As you can see, I use the black a lot. But I don't want it to be too heavy. And then all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add a little bit more detail. So a few more lines. Mimic some buildings in the background. So we're going in lines, you're not doing anything else other than lines, okay? And don't forget to see now, your scene's sort of like coming together. So I need to sort of like ground some of the buildings, stop them from floating. And even when you think you've lost all your detail, that's not always the case. Just remember that, because you can bring it back with your gel pen. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to drop some with the this is where your rigger brush comes in. Have I got my rigger brush? Your rigger brush is that fine detail pen. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do it this way because that's the natural way for my wrist. Is I'm just going to do some lines in myself with my, use a thinner brush, guys. Yeah, we've got some nice black lines in there now. So although we've got our lovely I'm just looking at my artwork there if anybody's wondering what I'm doing. Just casting some shadows on these buildings. Are you all okay? Have I lost any of you? Are you all happy? She's like, Toni, you did say this would be easy. Well, it is easy, it is. And I'm just going to ground again. Keep that nice ground in there because I really would like to mimic water. Mimic. Not always possible. And then what I'm going to do is with some faint lines, I am going to sort of put a few lines into the water as well. Just a few, don't overdo it. So I just need to dry that off now. I'm happy with how that looks actually, but I just need to dry it off. Let me just dry it off. I like this, got brushes. And then, really, we're going to add our detail with a fine liner pen. I'm going to just grab a pen, quite a thick pen here. Let's just clean my station a little bit. Let's just get rid of the ink pads. Now, you could go on forever and ever and ever. I would say that most of those paintings in there look very simple. They're not great either, but I would say that I've pushed some colour around for at least an hour on each picture. just having fun with it. Now, if you know the technique with salt, where you drop rock salt into the wet watercolour and you let it dry and scratch it off, that looks like a snowy scene. So if you're wanting to mimic like New York with the snowy effects and how it all sort of like gives those legs like spider-like, all you do is get some rock salt whilst your painting is wet, put a load of rock salt on it, let it dry for an hour and then scratch the salt off, and you end up with like a beautiful sort of like hazy, smoky city sort of like centre as well. So I'm just going to grab my fine liner. Now here is where, sorry. Oh, rigger brush is what you need for the fine detail, definitely. So I'm just going to take a ruler now, and all I'm going to do is sort of like define some of my buildings even better. I'm going to put a few windows in as well. You don't have to put windows in, but we can here. So the ones where I've got actual definition. So here you could sort of like mimic lines, windows, whatever you wanted to do. Just looking at my, let's put some more cranes in. Make some of your lines thicker. So I've done 3 lines on that one, so it's thicker. So you can see now I've brought the thicker one to the front, pushed the smaller ones to the back. So I'm literally just adding detail with lines. So that's giving the effect of buildings in the back. You see there, doing that? And a white gel pen, you can faff forever, guys. Honestly, it can go on forever. So I might put some white back in here. You can use scribbles, lines, windows, spot. I would actually probably put some white on top of the crane as well. I like the crane. Make that into an actual building. Don't put yourselves under any pressure. Just go for it, right? Just go for it. And then just keep adding detail. I don't know. I could honestly stand here for hours. And add some sort of like off cuts just to break it up a bit so it does look like it's not all just lines. Very industrial. Very industrial. Could do with probably another line in there. And then add some white highlights to your work as well. Need to put what? Gel pen. If your gel pen don't work, it's because your water, it's still a little bit wet, okay? Just remember that as well. So let's just ground this a little bit more. Now I'm going to use a thinner pen to ground my building so it doesn't look like it's all just falling into water. So now please do know that I'm going to be stocking watercolour books, watercolour paints, fine liner pens as well very soon. Stand by for that one because I want to get back into my painting, and there's no good me using things that I can't sell you if you want to get involved. So listen, I'm not doing a solid line. Can you see? I'm just sort of like hit one, miss one. It just sort of like grounds my work a little bit. It wouldn't be, if you did a solid line across there, it would sort of like take your eye away from all of the work that you've done here. I don't like them white lines there, so that's going. And that's pretty much it, guys. I would probably go over with a bit more black at the top to create a more industrial scene. But what do we think? What do we think? So when you spend more time, this is a heavy one. I like the one that I've just done actually better. But you can see, sort of like, take a screen grab, guys, and attempt. So you don't have to have lots of buildings. You could just have a few. These look like towers, cylinder towers, don't they, rather than your straight lined effect here. But you can see I've added splats, acrylic paint. I've just literally gone to town with the browns and the blues and the blacks, really giving it that sort of like masculine feel, whereas this has got a little bit more feminine to it as well. I would absolutely rattle that with white acrylic, flick, flick, flick off the end of my brush. Give it some dimension. I probably would flick it with some water to make it blend out a little bit more as well, so it's not as sterile in its lines. But yeah, absolutely. There we go. Gonna love and leave you with that one. Who's gonna give it a go? Who is gonna give it a go? Oh, before I do go, look, here's our dry bear. So all you would do now is take your bear outside, take your trees, and stamp your trees in his legs, and you have an Aurora Borealis bear with the trees inside his legs, like in the picture here. How cool is that? So if you stamp them higher in a light grey, like here, and then solid black at the bottom, flicked it with some white, you have a snowy bear. Come on, guys, try this one too. If you've got this, try this one too. So you have lots of options. I'm going to love you all and leave you all. It's the weekend. Hopefully the weather stays nice. It's not too bad here at all. Looks so colourful and delicate, just fab. It's just a technique, you know, I love abstracts anyway, so I'm always going to be painting that way. But, you know, it's you as the paintbrush and your mind, and the colour will go your way. There's no way for me to change the colour you love, the way that you work, but the more that you do it, the better you will get. So sometimes when you want a bit of mindfulness and a little bit of a step away from your overwhelming craft room, because we've all got tons of it, picking up a brush really, really does help. I do it all of the time. The boys are at rugby, cricket, whatever. I'm there just swishing some colour around, and some of my best creations have come from distraction needed, or a bit of time to myself, a bit of self-care to myself, and that's watercolouring. So you do you. If you want to paint a block of houses, paint a block of houses. It doesn't have to be the industrial scene set. If you want to do trees with the card, the branches of the trees, and put some spots of green as if it's like a spring-summer scene, and do a bit of a reflection in water, you do you. You are amazing, always remember that. So whatever you're doing, have a fantastic weekend, and I will speak to you all on Monday. Take care, guys. Love you all. Bye.